Here we're going to tie a super clouser or a superhair clouser. First thing we're going to do, start with some of our chartreuse thread. Then we're going to tie in a pair of pseudo eyes. You can either use red or yellow. And we're just going to secure these right on top of the shank of the hook here. Give it a few good figure 8 wraps all around those eyes. Lock them down. Now the next thing to do is to tie in the tail, which is going to be some white superhair or clear superhair. And we're going to take some, you got to be very careful not to use too much superhair. It's easy for guys to get carried away and add a very thick bushy tail, but you got to be careful. It was meant to be a fairly sparsely tied fly, so using too much is definitely not a good thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our thread, leave it right up here by the eye. We're just going to secure this superhair into place here. Some nice tight wraps. Then I'm going to jump my thread to behind the eyes, and I'm going to secure the superhair down here with a few nice loose wraps. And then I'm just going to cover that superhair here. I like to cover the body, that way it doesn't fall apart. And we're going to take our thread to the front again here, and we'll want to trim out all that excess superhair. There we go. Now what we're going to do is invert the fly. We're going to tie in a little bit of flash. I'm just going to use a few strands of pearl flashaboo. You can use other stuff for this too. If you have some DNA fiber laying around, you can use a little bit of DNA. It's also a good flashy substitute. And this is just a taste, however much you want to add. If you like a lot of flash, you can add more. If you don't like it too much, you add less. Just add it to taste, however much you want to tie in. And the next thing to do is to add the collar. I'm going to tie a clear and chartreuse one here, so I'm going to pull out some chartreuse superhair. And we're just going to secure this down right on the underside of the fly. And I'm also going to jump behind the eyes here, secure it down with a couple of wraps, and I'm going to jump forward again. Trim out all the excess chartreuse superhair. Make sure everything's locked down nice and tight. And we can whip finish. And the next thing you want to do is trim all of the superhair here. Usually I trim these about twice the length of the fly, and I usually just trim them blunt. You can taper them if you like. There we go. Now we're going to build up the head. For the head you can use epoxy, you can use UV fly finish, which is what I'm going to use here. You can use a few different types of materials. UV knot sense. All we're going to do is we're going to build up a nice even coat here around the head, top of the eyes, and I usually do this in 2 stages. I'll do kind of a base coat here, which is what I'm doing. Got to be careful not to add it all at once or else it won't totally cure. So I just add a little bit to the top and the bottom side of the fly. And I'm just going to cure it with my UV light. Once I've got that coat done, I'm going to finish it off. And it usually helps to set this in the sun as well for a few minutes once you're all done and let it completely cure rock hard. Sometimes you'll still have a little bit of tack after you've done the cure inside, indoors. So, and we'll just continue to cure it. And it still has a little tack. Like I said, you can just put it on a piece of foam, lay it outside for a few minutes, and that'll cure it rock hard. That's all there is to the Superhair Clouser, or the Super Clouser. Very durable pattern, very lifelike. It's translucent Superhair. Really looks great in the water. Imitates a little baitfish. And you can buy all the materials for this fly at intheriffle.com.